Hey everybody, hey everybody. Welcome, welcome. Let me switch actually to the the scene that I set up here. We're here today with Jeff Irving, the designer of Vrahode, and I've got the whole game set up here. So, if you've seen my unboxing of Vrahode, it's mirrored in this camera, but it's not here. So here's the box of Vrahode, Age of Prophecy, and that is the game we're going to be talking about today together with the designer. So, Jeff, welcome in.
Thank
Welcome
you
to
so
the
much.
stream. So how long have you been working on Vrahode?
Let's see. Well, about a little over 4 years ago, I started in on the Harbinger 3D terrain set, which was kind of my what I wanted to contribute to the board game industry, and it led me into uh, designing the Vrahode game system because we wanted to use that 3D terrain system first before anybody else did. So went from finishing up the Harbinger 3D terrain system into Vrahode.
Right.
We did a big core box and three huge expansions first. And then my marketing team said, you really need to start with a kind of an introductory product, something that's affordable, something that people can try, make sure they enjoy the game system that we've designed
Mm-hmm.
without risking a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so Age of Prophecy is that. It is our effort to try to create something that, it's not a huge ask. We're under 100 US dollars, trying to give people a satisfying experience that lets them take their first steps into this new fantasy world. Um, Teaches about 85 to 90% of the mechanics in the entire system, but also gives you that great kind of prologue feeling, like you're reading the prologue to some epic fantasy series. And so that's really it started about 4 years ago, and here we are. 15 days to launch?
Yeah. Yeah, because the set that you're making now, Age of Prophecy, is kind of like an introductory chapter, if you will, entire experience, entire game that will be followed up by the actual core game, if you will, a bigger game with some more advanced rules, if I understand correctly, and that will take you further from this. And well, this is like you said, a narrative game. So let me first show off some of the components here. So what you see here is part of the game. It comes with lots of really cool miniatures here. So there's 6 miniatures in this box, and the middle two, the dragon ones, bird-like creatures. Those are monsters. Those are enemies, and I'll actually take that shiny thing off so you can see them better. And the other 4 are the heroes you can play in this box in this game. And I suppose there will be more characters you can play in the future.
Yeah. For again, Age of Prophecy is my way of proving to everyone that, one, I can make a well-designed game, and then the company that I formed, Weatherbank Games, can make a quality product. So that's really where we want to start. Once you get beyond this, there's 4 pre-generated heroes in Age of Prophecy. Beyond that, there will be 12 pre-generated heroes, and also the possibility of creating custom heroes, which a lot of people that enjoy role-playing games or adjacent, which this is kind of role-playing adjacent. The ability to create custom heroes is a big plus. People
Right.
want to tweak and create the exact hero that they want to play with.
Okay.
And so, yeah, in the future, you'll be able to do that.
Cool. 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 Yeah, that sounds really nice because yes, these characters are all pre-generated, and I know this is probably not going to focus. Let me kind of try and manually adjust focus here so I can hold this up right. I think this is readable. So here's one of the
Yes.
characters, and they have these stats on the right. So they have a number of life points, which is their hit points, their body points, and the body, the red one there, that's basically their strength. Then you have their spirit, their mind, their focus, their presence, and their movement points. So that's all pre-generated, and they start out with some gear at the bottom. You can see that there are cards for that, so you can pick those up when you start playing. And they have 3 skills to start with as well, and those are also cards. So you take that character's card, and on the back there's some information about the species, the race, and they have some traits and they have some abilities. Sometimes those abilities trigger in certain areas, certain environments, and others are just always active. And there's a bit of text at the bottom there. They have their own sigil in the top there. So you can put this in your dashboard. So these dashboards are pretty cool. I'll take one apart here. So carefully, because I set all the pips on it. So you have this hero dashboard here. And it's double layered. So you can put in all of those cubes. And it has slots for the things that you see here in this dashboard. And let me just put the focus back on the table. So you have these crystals that go in here as well. And these are the unspent crystals. And if you move them here, they're spent. And I'll go into that in a bit. And the rest just has spots for basically for the cards. So you basically put that on top of this. And put that in neatly. And that's your whole hero board. So then you put your character here. You can also, once you've set these stats on your board here, so that's the same numbers that we saw on the card, you can also turn it around so you are remembered of their racial traits and abilities. So we have these basic item cards, which are described on the character card. So this one has a simple short bow, a stone dagger. I think also had a leather armor, which gives you an extra mitigation point. That's basically mitigation is your armor. It's really all you need to know, because when you get hit, then one of those hit points is mitigated by your armor. So kind of makes sense. I'll just put them in here for now, so I don't have to reach in here. And there's the 3 skills that were also described on the card that you pick from those skills. This character has focus skills, which it says here on the top. Those are the green cards, focus skills, that go in the focus slot here. You just need to remember that you have them and that you can use them. And there's those kinds of skills for everybody. So this character, which is a centaur, it's called, in this lore, it's called a Kautuk, if I pronounce that correctly. And his name is Eclipse, and he's the spark. Well, that's, I guess, a profession. There's a lot of terms in this game, fantasy terms that I'm not familiar with, of course. That's the whole lore of the game. So he starts out with 3 mind skills. So I'll put that in here as well, and these are those matching cards. So the description of what those cards do, of course, are just written on those cards. And when you start playing, you'll familiarize yourself with your character and with the skills they have and the items they have. And there's like 4 very different kind of balanced character. There's like a healer, there's a tank, the lizard folk character, that's like the stronger one with the sword and a shield. And there's this guy here, which is this character, who is a bit of a ranger, I want to say.
I would maybe a little more of a rogue.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And here's the miniature for the centaur. And he's like the wizard, I guess, more or less.
Yes. Right. With Age of Prophecy, we really wanted to give players from other fantasy games, give them at least a little bit of a familiar hook
Right.
So we chose the heroes we chose for Age of Prophecy are familiar archetypes. We have basically a warrior, we have a rogue, we have a wizard, and then we have a bit of a cleric, so kind of an off tank healer. Um, so we handle things a little differently in our world in that everyone is a caster. Even the warrior types are casters in this world, because this world is so steeped in magic. It's just a part of their daily lives. It's not like something they have to go off to some cryptic university and study.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of their lives from birth. So yeah, even warriors have skills that are magically enhanced to make their attacks more brutal.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, because these skills are basically magical skills in a way. Some of them are described as just basically an attack, but all of them they spend these rule crystals, which is also a fantasy term, rule, and you
Instead
spend
of
them to activate those skills. Yeah, Jeff, go ahead.
just saying, on Vrahode, we call magic rule.
Oh, right.
So when we say that, it means magic.
It's just magic. Okay. Yeah, that was one thing that I kind of wondered about when reading. So all the lore is basically on these maps, correct? There's not a whole lot in the booklet, at least not in this edition. Of course, this is a preview edition, so I get the rules reference. And it does have a little bit of a campaign introduction right here. So we read that when starting. We're basically all hunters, right? We're like a gang of people surviving in the wild, of all kinds of different races and species, and they travel the land and they hunt and they have a flock of what were they called? Something horns.
Well, we have basically they're managing some livestock called thunderhorns.
Thunderhorns, that's the one. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, so and here's a map of the world as well, which is pretty cool. So stuff happens, you read the intro, stuff happens, and you're already thrust into your first adventure, which takes place here, and you simply read what it says on these maps, and that's the story. And after one of these maps ends, you flip it around, and there's a second map, and there's 8 in this preview copy, but the final version of this box will have 24 scenarios to play, right? So
Absolutely. It's gonna have 24 encounter maps. However, some of the maps have 2 scenarios on one map. So I think you're going to end up in the entirety of the campaign. You're going to end up doing about 30 scenarios.
Yes, right. Yeah. So this one already also has scenario A and B.
Right.
Yep. And people in chat, if one of our voices or microphones is too soft or too loud, please let me know. If there's anything off, please just let me know in chat and I'll adjust. So, yeah, we have all of these different creatures. I imagine that you've written a lot of lore for this whole world, for Vrahode, because you've already have in mind, like you said, all these additional games that are going to come out, like the bigger core game after this introductory game, I would call it. And that game then has, I think, 3 or 4 expansions already planned.
Right. So the product, all the products within the game system, the Vrahode game system, there's over 1 million words of campaign and quest copy that's been written. The campaign book alone in the core box right now it's a 500-page document.
Okay.
So there's a lot of lore that's been written. And you know, campaign games aren't for everybody. Not everybody wants to wade through big stories. And so what we do with Age of Prophecy and beyond is we try to give you a taste of lore with each map, and a little bit of story without it becoming so burdensome that you feel like you need narration. You can read through the the scenario text before you play in 2 or 3 minutes. So it's not a huge ask. But then once you get beyond Age of Prophecy, if you survive, in the core box, the campaign gives people that want that story, it gives them more. But then there's several modes of play that allow you to be more about the action, and that's kind of that's my preference. I kind of like a board game that plays a little like Diablo, in that I can go into a game like this, or on a computer when you're playing Diablo, you get to go in, you can hack and slash a few things, have some fun, and get in and out in about 30-40 minutes. So there'll be modes of play for that type of preference as well.
All right, cool. And yeah, so you mentioned that the whole story already has like 500 pages of lore. Is that going to be in this version of this first Kickstarter, or?
Age of Prophecy is designed to let you take your first steps into this new world. We're not going to inundate you with a lot of story. However, the timeline of what happens in this game, Age of Prophecy, is a great setup. It introduces many of the critical characters and races in the world of Vrahode. It does give you that great feeling of being connected to a broader story that's unfolding. But we're not going to inundate you with a whole lot of story. We really just want you to get in the action, understand how the system works, how the kind of asymmetric nature of the heroes works, and kind of give it to you in bite-sized chunks, so that if you and your friends have an hour, you have 2 hours, you can sit down, have a satisfying and exciting and challenging experience without needing a GM. And that's really the goal of this first product.
Right. Yeah, that sounds really fun. That's what we've been experiencing as well. So I've been playing this with 3 of my friends, and so we've played all the characters, which is kind of nice. And yeah, it starts out pretty simple, right? The rules are pretty simple. It feels a little bit like you said, like an RPG-like experience. Specifically, we thought Dungeons and Dragons 3.5 edition, because you roll
Has someone come?
the D20 to determine if you hit or not, and you have to hit lower than whatever you need to test it on. So if you're a strength character, you're checking your body stats. And so for this character, the body stat is 10 right now. So if I want to attack, then I roll the 20, and if I roll higher, then I fail my attack. Which reminds me of Thaku, right? From the 3.5 edition of D&D.
Right.
And there's like movement rules, there's line of sight rules as well, with the grid on the map. So all of that feels pretty intuitive and easy to grasp. And you're basically doing some scenarios where you fight, and you're trying to optimize your turns, because your turns are pretty limited. You have 2 action points, and you can either move or use a skill. But if you use a skill, you can't attack. So it's either attacking, using a skill, or using a character like a racial ability, right? Those 3 that you have to pick one. But next to that, you can also spend an action point to move or use an item. If you have items that you can use in your inventory, then you can do that as well. And that's basically it. So you need to make do with those 2 actions. And I at the start, I at least, I felt like I want to use a skill to boost my strength, for example, or my attack, and then attack, but you can't do that.
Of course.
That's too much.
No.
So you really have to discuss what you're going to do, and maybe go back and forth into the melee a number of times so they don't hit you while you prepare an attack, and then go back in and try to hit them. So it is all about trying to optimize your turn, and certainly the cooperation, because there's the 4 different characters with each their own strengths. So yeah, you need to take that into account. So I feel that's fun. That's engaging.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I don't know if you experience this, Ray, but for me, when I play Age of Prophecy, I think of my group almost more than just myself because things are so kind of asymmetric and we rely on each other so much that no, you can't move, buff your weapon and attack all in the same turn. So it makes you kind of think more of the group as a unit. And to me, when you're playing in a party, that's really the sweet spot of it is really feeling like you're important and critical to the group, but you're not everything,
Yeah,
right? You
exactly.
can't do it all.
No.
And the other thing that we wanted was some games that are near and dear to my heart, like Gloomhaven.
Right.
You know, my character builds in Gloomhaven, there are many turns I can't do anything. I'm waiting on a skill to cool down or proc or something.
Right.
What we wanted to do in Age of Prophecy is give every hero a chance to at least do something during their turn. They may not be able to do everything,
Mm-hmm.
but one of the things I'll tell you about is starting in the core box. Once you get beyond Age of Prophecy, we have a hero role called a Jester, and the Jester has a skill called Chord of the Valiant.
Okay.
And the Jester can play a chord on their lute that actually gives all other heroes in the party an extra action on the first round of battle,
Oh, nice.
so that all of their friends can then do that buff, then move, then attack.
Right.
But unless you have a Jester in your party, you can't do it. So there are instances where you can do that in our system, but we want to make them rare and precious. We don't want to make them commonplace.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah. It'd be too overpowered.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. That sounds really good. So, let's see. The Kickstarter is gonna be on October 1st, right?
Yes.
All right.
10-1.
And what can people expect there? So it's this game. You got the 4 characters. So basically, pretty much everything that people saw in my unboxing video. If you haven't seen my unboxing video, I'll dig up the link for you because I did a detailed unboxing of this demo copy, and I have a link right here. So let me paste that. Go ahead and give that a watch or a like. And so that's the components which we have right here. Will there be additional stuff coming apart, of course, from the additional maps? Like I said, there's going to be these are double-sided, and there's now 4 in here, so there's going to be 12 of those leaflets, which are double-sided. So like about 30 scenarios, like you mentioned. Is there going to be anything else in addition to that?
Yes. What you can expect if you decide to back, obviously we're honored to have your support because our success on Age of Prophecy also contributes to us being able to go forward and release the rest of the products for the world of Vrahode. But what you can expect is for under $100, you'll get everything you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to upgrade, let's say your token set to an acrylic token set with really nice, thick acrylic tokens,
Right.
you'll be able to do that. The standard box that you would back on Kickstarter, we offer a miniature upgrade pack so that you can get all miniatures for the game instead of a mix of miniatures and standees like the review copies.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 49 miniatures in that set for basically $1 a piece. So $50 for 49 miniatures.
That's a good deal.
We'll be doing some really fun story unlocks during the campaign. We'll also be doing I think a little bit of a quality upgrade on cards because some of the really heavy linen finish cards are a little bit more expensive, but we want to be able to provide those for everybody. So we're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a sleeve pack. The sleeve pack will allow you to sleeve Euro cards, the
Mhm.
poker cards, and the big legendary creature card of the Westeros.
Right.
So you'll be able to purchase a sleeve pack for that. Um, Also, then in the Pledge Manager, oh no, actually, if you want to back the all in, which is somewhere between 100 and $200, you also get um, a custom music and adaptive audio app designed for Age of Prophecy by an Austrian company called Tabletone. And so they've made a custom music and adaptive audio app. And so Raymond, if you and I are playing in on map 3, scenario A,
Mhm.
we can literally go into the app on our phones and click scenario 3A, and it will give us the sounds of the environment and the
Oh,
enemies that happened
nice.
in that scenario.
That's really cool. That is
And
really cool.
so that'll be available for you as well. And then one of the higher end add-ons in the Pledge Manager will be some really nice exotic hardwood hero dashboards and enemy trackers um, made by a company called Ravenwood Woodworks out of
Yeah.
Vancouver, Washington.
Mhm.
They love our system and they're friends of ours, and they wanted to contribute as well. So you'll be able to. Uh, they're a little bit pricey, but wow! I mean, these are amazing hardwood dashboards that
Mm. Cool, cool,
they're
cool.
going to contribute.
So, like, these dashboards are also the enemy dashboards, or just
Both.
both?
Both. You'll be
Wow,
able to get those and then the hero dashboards in hardwood.
nice. That's pretty cool. I already like them the way they are because of the art on them, but
Right.
I can imagine hardwood looking really classy.
Oh
Nice,
yeah.
nice. Yeah, especially I mean the standees are pretty nice because they have the art for all the monsters on them, and that's pretty colorful and nice. And you have the bigger ones too, which are creatures that take up 2 by 2 squares. You put them on the X's instead of in the middle of the squares.
Exactly.
And there's a whole bunch. I just grabbed a few here, but there's a whole bunch of those creatures with really nice artwork, and they all have their own cards, which I will show you as well. So we have these different cards, and I'll try to get that back into focus again for you a little bit closer to the camera. Let me see if that is clear enough. Yeah, I can hold it all the way up here. So here is one other hero. Again, you can see that they have the stats here. This is one of the lizard folk, Aldira, she's called, and this is a Delrune. And there's
Mhm.
different kinds of these I saw in the cards, because a Drell rune, and there's another rune. So I guess the rune suffix is kind of like the lizard folk, right? And there's
Yeah,
different
we've got
types of.
there's actually there's actually 3 reptilian races on Vrahode. There's the Sahrun, the Drellrune, and then they have a desert dwelling cousin called the Juern.
Oh,
And they come along later.
cool, cool. Yeah, see this guy here, Captain Tentori, that is the Sarun.
Yep.
So that's a different kind of lizard folk as the hero here. So here is another hero character here, Clarion. And then we have some of the monsters. So the Rangora, which is kind of like I don't know, like a turtle with things growing on its back,
Yeah,
sort of.
I think of him as a rhino
Right.
with a salad bar on his
Salad
back.
bar. Yeah. It's got flying creatures. You got these serpents, which we will see in the first scenario. Here are the thunderhorns, so that's the livestock that we're herding. Here's the Tormentor. That's the smaller miniature that we saw earlier. We can grab that later. We got some creepy looking spider things. This Weaver here. So there's all kinds of cool monsters, and the artwork is really nice. There's even some
Thank you.
eldritch looking creatures here. Here's this bat person. Here, another one of these creepy looking things. A sea monster.
Yeah,
And
I think you'll notice
Behold.
my love of Cthulhu kind of shines through a little bit in some of the art.
Right. Yeah, yeah, it does. Like this one too. So lots of cool art here. These pirates again, and then we're back. So yeah, this is a taste of what's to come. And well, I was gonna propose if you want to, we could try and play a bit of the first scenario. And now I need to put it back in focus again. There we go. So we could play a bit of the first scenario just to give people an idea of how the game plays.
Absolutely.
So I'll put
Yeah.
these minis to the side because we're not going to use those.
Who are you wanting me to play, and which are you playing? Are you playing the Spark, or are you playing the Shadow?
Um, I guess I'll play the Shadow.
Okay.
I don't
You say
really.
Wyrich, I say Wyrick.
Wyrick. Okay.
Say Wyrick, yeah. It's CH, so you can go either way with it, I guess.
Yeah. It's always a thing in the English language where a certain combination of letters can be pronounced in two or even three different ways, like steak, right? Steak or steak. That the EA is also used as E, and but not in steak. It's peak, but it's steak, right?
Yeah.
So there's always the question when you're not native speaking and you see a word that's not an actual existing word, it's a fantasy word. How do they want me to pronounce this? Oh yeah, and let me just show you that the tormentor figure real quick as well. I'll put the focus back on here. There we go. So here is the tormentor little dragon figure, and as you see, all of these miniatures have a dark wash on them to bring out the details. I guess you can, if you want to paint them, you can just slap on some speed paints because it's basically the wash kind of primed them for painting, so it doesn't pearl off of the plastic.
Right. You can, if you're a painter, though, I would recommend that you soak the wash off, scrub it with a toothbrush,
Okay.
and remove it. Because, if you leave the wash on and then paint it, you're going to lose a little bit of detail. So we put the wash on there standard because we wanted them to be pretty for the majority of people, which are not painters.
Right.
We wanted them to look nice right out of the box for you.
Yeah. Yeah, they do look nice. I would say it's a bit heavy on the wash, which I also
agree.
mentioned, but it does look good. I mean, yeah, if it was this one actually isn't too bad. This like the wings here, that looks really good.
Yeah, that's nice. I did tell the factory though. I said to add just a little bit more clear oil to the wash because it's got a little bit of oil in that to make
Okay.
it spread well. So I told him to up the oil. That'll reduce the amount of pigment, so it should lighten it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because especially on flat surfaces like the inner side of the shield, then it just kind of pools instead of
Yep.
this is also very smooth, the tail here, instead of seeping into the recesses like the front here. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, and then we have a big one here. What was this called again?
That's Aldira, and she is our blade. This is the Wisteris.
The Wisteris. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we had a little bit of a delay, of course. The Wisteris, which is sitting on this this tower roof, I guess.
Yep, rooftop.
Really nice. So yeah, that's the minis that you get, and the others are standees in the standard box, but you will be able to get a upgraded add-on with actual miniatures for all of these. So very excited about that. All right.
Sure.
So the first scenario is right here. I'll read that, and I'll bring my microphone with me actually because I'll be facing the other way. Just grab the cable there. A little bit of improvisation going on here. There we go. All right. Good. So let's see. Half a day tracking Thunderhorn with Tabul blazing down on you and Sharaf's goons always on the edge of view behind. So again, there's a couple of terms here. Tabul, I guess, is the sun. There's
Yes.
plenty of words and names that we're gonna have to kind of interpret. And Sharov's goons always. Sharov is one of the characters, right? There's you're on the run from someone.
He's kind of the leader of the camp that we're in. It's kind of a camp of miscreants. We're just kind of a ragtag band of hunters and whatnot, trying to survive on the land.
Right. I see. All right. So let's see. Isn't how you would have drawn up your day. And the soft, silted stream bed, let me see. And the soft, silted stream bed the tracks have dragged you through for hours doesn't improve matters because we're following the tracks of the herd. The herd's gone missing, right? We're trying to track down these thunder horns. That was actually in the rule book, but that was a whole introduction that I skipped.
Right.
Let's see. But you know, Sharn would have come looking for you if the roles were reversed. So you keep trudging on, one uneven step at a time. So Sharn is one of the hunters as well who's gone missing, presumably with the herd.
We think he's the closest thing we have to a friend in this group of hunters. He's just one of the good. He's one of the good guys, you know.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. At a bend in the stream, you stop and glance back in time to see Sharov's two oafs duck behind a boulder. You shake your head, not sure whether you want more to curse or laugh. You wonder why they haven't overtaken you and attempted to slit your throat. Why else would Sharov have them out in this heat, if not to stop Sharn's closest friend from making trouble back at camp? Not that you mind. Every hindrance dodged brings you one step closer to finding the Thunderhorn, and whatever else may be. You step around the bend in the dry stream bed and stop, your senses sharpening. What was once a thick layer of silt and rocks has been trampled muddy with blood and feathers, not unlike back at camp. But unlike this morning, there are more than a few scattered plumes. It is as if an entire shrike was plucked clean in whatever melee happened here, and you find yourself grappling with the disgusting possibility that Sharov may have been right. Your thoughts are pulled away by a glint in the muck, and before you can investigate, whatever causes it is covered over in shadow. You trace the shadow up the steep bank of the stream and find the pale, haunting face of a large, Niveus adder glaring down at you. So this has been changed. Right now it has a couple of numbers here on the map, but we're getting like icons indicating here what happens at which place. So normally how many we have to check here in this table, how many we spawn. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 players. We're currently playing 2 players, and it says here 1 Niveus adder, but it has 10 extra hit points, so 10 extra life. Since we're with 2, if you were alone, you'd be fighting one of these guys. And so this is the Niveus adder standee here. So that's gonna spawn here, and then a second. Oh no, that's it. We only have the one, but it's pretty strong. So we take these life trackers, and normally this has a slot as well. Normally you would, if you have multiple, you take 2 of these and track each of these characters' life points. And to distinguish, we have these colored chips, really, these tokens, and you could take one of them and put them near or underneath the base of that creature, and then put the other one on that creature tracker, so that you know that this health belongs to this creature, etc.
Correct.
So that's pretty handy. But right now, since we only have the one, we don't need that. But so far, we've been playing, like I said, with 4 people previously, so we've had a lot of of these going around, a lot of creatures, a lot of fights. It was pretty hectic. So then you have the life track there, and we will get pegs that you can peg into there. Right now we have these very small cubes, but those will be pegs, I understand. And it has a track from 1 to 9, and a track from 0 in with tenfold numbers up to 90. So normally we check the card. Here's the card for the Niveus adder, and let me also show you that a bit more in focus here. So it has a stat bar at the top there with its standard movement, its mitigation, so that's basically its standard natural armor. It has 14 life points. It succeeds when it rolls 14 or less on an attack. That's basically all the rolls it makes is the red number. It does a quantity of 1 attack, which deals 5 damage. It can't do ranged damage, and it has 2 special actions. So this is the number of special actions, and the special actions is always on the bottom there. So this one has Venomous Fangs. Action causes 5 base damage plus poison effect to target. Success roll required, and it's exempt from water movement penalty. So sometimes there's like areas on the board that are difficult terrain, and water is one of those things, so you need an extra movement to move into those squares before you move on. And there's also impassable squares, which have a full line going around them. So these rocks here, we can't pass through that. So this one has 14 life, but since we're with 2 players, it has plus 10, so it's 24. So I put this one into 20. And let me just put this card down so I can grab another one of those pegs. And
yeah, we really feel like the change from the cubes to the pegs is going to be a huge quality of life improvement to the game. They're much easier to place. They don't fall over, but that's just part of the design process.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're really excited about that. The other thing that you kind of alluded to a little bit, Raymond, is the idea that in the title banner up there will be a symbol that tells us as heroes how we engage with the map. And the symbol on the banner, on the encounter map up there, Raymond.
Yeah. Oh, right, on this one? On this banner? Or
no, the top one, the very top banner. Okay. All there. Yeah. The symbol there will tell us that the enemies will not engage with us until we reach the point number 1 on the map.
Right.
So what that does is it allows the heroes to kind of strategically move through that first leg of the map until we arrive at that kind of story point where it talks about the glint in the mud. Mm-hmm. And so we can, obviously, I'm a spark, so I'm not very good in melee like Wyrick would be. Mm-hmm. So what we would probably do is move our way up towards point number 1. Mm-hmm. And you would be the one to actually step into that space to initiate contact with the Niveus adder. Mm-hmm. And I would probably be back behind you somewhere where I could cast from a distance so that I don't end up getting killed right off the bat.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because the combat can be pretty tough. At our first playthrough, we rolled so badly that the first group of, I think we had 2 Niveus adders nearly just killed us because you start out with some basic equipment. You don't have a lot of mitigation, and you don't have great weapons that do a lot of damage. So you will find better equipment from this equipment deck, and there's basic items and treasured items, which are better, of course. There's even regional items, and you will find healing items. You will find better armor, better weapons, so you can equip yourself and be ready for tougher monsters, because this is really the first encounter. So we're gonna be pretty weak. So what we could do now? Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you're looking for a game that's really, really easy, this is not that. I am a big fan of a high challenge level in games because I think it makes victory that much sweeter when you can beat the enemies. Many of the scenarios that I played in, I didn't get through them until my 4th, 5th, or 6th attempt.
Right.
so yes, the chances are you will die.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so when that happens, you just restart the scenario, right?
Yes. Yeah. Sure. Just restart the scenario and learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. All right, so first of all, you determine. Well, we haven't been engaged in combat yet, So I guess we can now just freely move.
No, what we would do is we would draw our own initiative just for you and I.
Right.
And that initiative number would represent all of our turns until we reach point 1. And then we would redraw initiative for the battle once that Niveus adder is engaged.
All right. So we have a bag with a whole bunch of numbered tokens, 1 through 12, I believe.
Yep.
So they all go into a little bag, like so, and we shuffle that bag. They're all in here. And I'll draw one for you.
Give me a good number.
Oh, I drew a 2, of course.
Oh,
I'm
good.
horrible.
2 good.
Oh yeah, higher is good. That's true. Yeah, 12. I had a game where I drew 12 3 times in a row, but that was when I have to comment on that because the rules in this booklet have been changed, and the original rule said that after every round of battle, so when you're engaged with monsters, everybody has taken their turn, the monsters have taken their turn, you redraw your initiative tokens again. And I had a game where I drew 12 3 times in a row, so I was last every time. But that's been changed, so now we draw. Let me reshuffle that. We draw a token which will last us through the entire first battle, basically, until all the creatures we encounter are dead. I drew a 5. That's also pretty good. And only after that you take all the tokens and put them back in the bag. So
yes,
a lot. It speeds up the game because having to draw initiative every time did take a bit of time. And we also have a whole bag of tokens for status effects. So we have bleeding, we have poison, we have paralyzed, we have one where you're sick or sleeping or on fire. That's also something you don't want to be. So I'll keep those handy in case one of our attacks or a monster's attack gives us a condition that we need to track. All right, so we've got 2 and 5, and we haven't encountered a monster yet. So basically, we just take our turns, right?
Right. So, am I 2? I'm 2?
Yes.
Okay, so I think at this point we're far enough away from that entry point, number 1 on the map.
Yep.
Just move me my maximum movement rate.
All right. So that's 7.
Up that way.
No, that is. Oh wait, you have a movement of 8.
This is we're in the plains, Raymond.
Right. Oh yeah, you have extra movement on the plains. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm a 10 on the plains, but I don't necessarily want to go all the way up there. Put me up by that blood smudge.
Yes. All right. 1, 2. I'll set the movement accordingly. Up to blood smudge. So we can do 1 diagonal movement at either the start or the end of my movement, right? And the rest
correct.
Rest is orthogonal. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 diagonal. We're on the blood smudge, where one of those, I guess, a flying creature got trampled. So then I've got 7 movement. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then diagonal 7. I'm over there. So we can already prepare for battle. Is that something we can do?
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing. When you use a skill that says this battle, if you're not in battle,
right,
it's not going to last. It's not going to hold,
right? Because
it's a battle skill. So at this point, we're a little premature on that.
Yeah. Okay. All right, that's nice. I have a gloom cloak. So this is a card. It's pretty cool. That's a card that lets me be invisible for 3 rounds.
Sadly, you have to be in the Underlands for that.
Oh, okay. Indoor or underground. Oh, yes, indeed. Indoor or underground spaces. So I can't use that in this.
That's coming though. There will be several scenarios ahead of us where we will be in the Underlands, and you will be able to use Gloom Cloak.
Excellent.
To your heart's content.
Excellent. Yeah. So for everybody just joining in the stream, in the chat, this is Vrahode, Age of Prophecy, a new game by Jeffrey Irving right here, where you have the designer of the game in the chat tonight in the stream. And we've just talked about the game a bit, and we're just playing the first scenario to give you an idea of how the game plays and what it is about. It's high fantasy. There's lots of magic and lots of strange creatures. Really nice looking artwork. So we're just about to encounter our first enemy. Let me see. And I'm just checking my skills here, what I can do. So I have a Savage Mantra. Allows this hero to double their physical attacks for the next 2 rounds and do +1 damage each attack. So that's something I want to do when we're actually in battle. And another one says Bloodlust. Whenever this hero is successfully attacked, their next melee attack gains 2 times bleed effect in this battle. Also good. Because bleed is a condition that simply you get 3 tokens per stack. So per time you get hit with a bleeding weapon or bleeding attack, you get a stack of 3 blood tokens, bleeding tokens. And at the start of your turn, or the monster's turn in this case, you take away 1 token per stack, and those each do 1 damage. So that's pretty cool. I like that it stacks. That's pretty cool. So we have those. I'll keep those in mind. My weapons are a simple short bow and a stone dagger. So I have a ranged weapon, which causes 3 piercing damage, which helps with the, if I use the bleeding skill, because your weapon needs to be either piercing or cutting, I guess, or what's the term for that?
Or blunt.
Oh, okay. Blunt? Yeah, blunt works too. Okay.
On which? On the bleed? No. Yeah. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right, Raymond.
All right. So yeah, bleed is piercing or cutting, exactly. So I also have stone dagger, which is a cutting weapon. Does 3 base melee damage or 2 base damage when thrown. So I can also throw my dagger with a range of 3. Pretty cool. I'm gonna put these here for now. And here the Spark Eclipse. The Centaur has a couple of mind spells. They can put monsters to sleep, which is pretty cool. The target enemy suffers sleep effect. A successful attack awakens sleeping enemy, of course, because you hit them, they wake up. However, they must regain their feet before attacking. So every time you're knocked out or asleep or whatever, then you need to spend an action to get back up. So that's something you need to keep in mind. So you either can't move or attack, depending on what you choose to do. Let's see. You can spend your magic crystals here. If your mind is at 14, now currently it's at 12, so he's not. Or is it a he? The
Which one?
The Centaur.
Eclipse. Yeah, it is a male. He does look rather androgynous, but yeah.
It's a fantasy creature. Well, okay.
Yes.
So yeah, he can if he somehow increases his mind points later, then he can spend a magic crystal, a rule, to increase the affected enemies to 2, so he can put 2 of them to sleep. There's also armor of rule, enchants armor for +2 mitigation this battle, which is also pretty cool. So basically enchant armor from D&D. You make somebody stronger, give them extra mitigation. And again, you can spend a rule, does 1 shock damage, +1 for each mind point over 14 to enemies that successfully melee attack this hero. Also cool. Then we have...
Yeah, and one of the things too, Raymond, that we made a decision on that your folks might want to know is, you've got a choice when you design a combat system. Are you going to have attack rolls and defense rolls, which can kind of slow down battles? And we made the decision that there are no defense rolls in our system. It's simply, like you said, gear mitigation, right? That's your defense.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, because it's already you're rolling to see if you hit or not, and
yep.
that's already a chance to miss, right? So if you hit, you don't want someone to be able to block that hit after all, because then your chances are gonna be slim. So it's a very simple and elegant system, I think. Let's see. We have Concussive Blast finally. Right now, does 2 damage, +1 for each mind point over 14. 2 enemies in a 2x2 square region. Damage may not be mitigated, so it ignores armor. And for +1 rule, requires mind 14, which it doesn't have right now. Increases the region to 3x3. It makes the blast bigger. So that is also pretty nice. That's mind skills. Put them in here. All right, so the enemy is going to spawn when we reach this point here on the map, because we round the corner and we see the creature. Well, it's your turn again.
I'm going to skip my movement this round because I want you to be able to go past me to the number 1 on the map.
Yes. All right. Anything else you want to do? Probably not, because we're not in battle, right?
Maybe. Yeah, as soon as we draw the new initiative with the Niveus Adder involved, right, then you can bet I'll be ready to do.
All right.
All of the.
All right. So yes, again, my movement right now is 7, so I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could go there and just trigger the battle. So I'll do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Do it.
So I hit that point. So I spy the Niveus Adder right here. A monster! So that was my movement. So now we draw. Again, I still have an action. So do we first draw initiative for the monster, or do I attack right away for my remaining action?
Because you were kind of surprised, you weren't ambushed, but you were surprised. The monster gets a chance to draw initiative with us, right. So you won't get a free attack.
Okay, so I'll draw a token for the monster. It's a 3. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! So now I could spend, I think 2 rule or 2 fatigue. Is it
fatigue?
2 fatigue, which is this track here, to pick an initiative number. Since this guy, the adder, has 3, you've got 2. I could choose 1 and just go first. Correct?
As long as 1 isn't already claimed by someone, then yes.
Yes, of course.
He's 3, I'm 2. Because I'm adjacent numerically to the Niveus Adder, well, I'm above him, so it doesn't matter. I was going to say, if I had a 4 and he had a 3, then I could do a presence check, and if I could make that presence check rolling equal to or lower than my presence score, then I could switch those 2 tokens.
Oh, okay.
In other words, he would move to 4 and I would become 3.
Right. But
and then if you had 5, Raymond, and you made your presence check, then the enemy would then become 5 and you would go to 4.
All right. Yeah. Is that always?
So that's another way to do it.
That's only with adjacent initiative numbers. Okay.
Right.
That's new then, probably, because I don't recall reading that.
That's on the back cover of the rule book. That's all.
Ah, see that.
Yeah, don't forget to use your stats, because I'm telling you, those will save you in a pinch, for sure. You can make a mind check to resist an enemy's action. If they hit you with their action, you can resist it if you make a mind check. Right. And then 1 time per battle, you can bless an attack and get a second attack if you miss, if you make a spirit check.
Right.
So there are some fun little things that your statistics can do for your hero if you don't forget to take advantage of them.
Okay. I had not read that.
You haven't used those yet, have you?
No. Because I just read the rule book, or the new one actually that I printed. But
Yeah.
these rules are only on the back of the booklet.
Yeah, they're meant to be those are your player aids. They're meant to kind of explain how everything works in a simple, right there.
Right, yeah, it's because the back of the book is a quick reference. So I hadn't really read this because I thought I already knew all the rules. But I would suggest putting those in the actual rules as well, and not only on the quick reference, because that's easily missed.
Noted.
But that is interesting. So the once per battle thing, right? Okay, let's see. We've got focus and mind characters here. So mind we've covered. You can resist an action once per battle. And the focus one says ranged physical attacks are permitted only after a successful attack roll against the hero's focus stat. Disarming traps and unlocking locked doors or chests is also rolled against the hero's focus stat. Alright, so if I'm a focus-based... No, wait, let me see. How does that work? Can you explain?
Yeah, if you're a focus-based hero, all your ranged attacks are going to be much easier for you because that's your focus, so to speak.
Right, because you have high focus.
High focus, yep.
Oh, yeah, well, okay, I did know that. I did know that ranged attacks always use focus as the test, right? To roll. Whereas melee is your body stat.
Correct. Yeah, and those are anytime you do those sorts of attacks. The mind and the spirit skills are a once per battle option, but it's really nice in a pinch. If you were to get hit by the Niveus Adder's venomous fang, and you were able to roll your mind skill or lower, which for both of us, for you is horrible. For me, all I've got to do is roll a 12 or less to resist that Adder's action.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it comes in very handy, but it's only once per battle.
Right, yes. All right, that's interesting.
I'll be right back.
All right. Hey, so I'll just say hi to everybody in chat. Welcome, Artem Havoc, and of course Echo and Strider. I saw you in earlier. Florian the Raccoon is also here. Welcome in, welcome in. The Ryu Shinaka is here. And Mac was here earlier. I don't know if you're still in the chat. So yeah, we've been chatting with Jeff about Vrahode, Age of Prophecy here, of which I got a preview copy, kind of like a prototype, but it looks really good. This is basically a production copy, a pre-production copy, if you will, with most of what's in the box, not everything. But we're just playing through the first scenario here, so you have an idea of how it plays. And Jeff is back, so we can get cracking. So would you suggest, should I change my my initiative from 5 to something higher, to 1, by spending rule, or should I save my rule for something better? Or not my rule, my fatigue. I can do fatigue.
For the purposes of this, I would go ahead and spend the fatigue just to show them that it can be done, right. Because it's an important option that's only available to the heroes. The enemies can't spend fatigue to do that because they don't have a fatigue stat per se.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would spend it and then just go first and show everybody that you did that. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, let me find the number 1. So I took that from the bag here. My number 1. I'll put the 5 back. Put all of the rest back in the bag. So I spent 2 fatigue to do that. It costs 2 fatigue. And there's like these numbers which you reach at a certain point. So if I reach 6 fatigue, from 6 to 8, it's pretty small here, there are certain repercussions. And if you ever reach 10 fatigue, which is the maximum, you're forced to rest. You're just spent. Your character just cannot go on, and you need to do a forced rest. You're basically put down on the board, and you can't participate in any actions anymore. You're just too damn tired. So I spent those 2. I have now got initiative 1. I don't know what the top of the one is. I think this way. And so that means now that the adder is 3, I can spend my second action, which I haven't done yet, to just move there to attack it, right? Or am I still surprised?
No, when you move to 1 and we drew initiative, okay, that's a new turn.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So you have 2 action points to spend now,
Oh,
Raymond.
I see. Okay, excellent. Excellent. All right, let me see. I didn't actually need to move that close. Well, I did because I needed to trigger
Yes.
the event. So I have my short bow, but I can't be adjacent directly to use a ranged weapon. I need to be at least 1 space away.
No, you actually can. You actually can.
Oh,
There is a benefit, however, to being at least 1 space away, and that is if you give up your movement, you can attack twice with a bow. If you're standing adjacent to the enemies, you're only going to get 1 shot off.
right. Uh-huh. So I can. Oh, right. So I can't attack twice now.
No.
I'll need to be at a distance next time. All right. And let's see. Let's check my skills again. Maybe I want to move away and prepare something. Double the physical attacks for the next 2 rounds and plus 1 damage. That's actually pretty good. If I'm successfully attacked, my next melee attack is 2 times bleed. Also pretty good. Yeah, let's do that, I guess. I'm just gonna think out loud here, right? As an inexperienced player of this game, I was thinking about moving away a bit and then using Savage Mantra for my second action, and then see what happens next. But the snake's probably gonna come. Oh, no, wait, is it gonna come to me? Because I haven't attacked it yet. Is it already aggressive? Because
The only way you're going to be able to get rid of aggro, and the reason you have it is because you're the closest hero, right? So the only way you're going to be able to lose that and where it won't chase you is if you're farther away from it than I am.
Okay, we don't want that. All right.
So yeah.
Okay. My weapons are here. Focus. Then I guess because the dagger also just does 3 base damage, just like the bow.
I'll make you a deal.
Yeah.
Why don't you move farther from it than I am? I will cast my armor of rule to give me some protection. Right. You can do savage mantra, and if you give up your movement, you can shoot 4 times with your bow while that's in place.
Right. Let's do that. It's a good idea. Because my savage mantra allows me to double my physical attacks. Right. That's something that we were unclear of the first time. I think I asked you that question when we played last time.
Yeah,
it says double the physical attacks. I was thinking I'm doubling the damage I deal, but you're doing your attack twice.
So, but I have to get aggro. I have to get aggro from you. That's important.
Mm-hmm. Why do you need to get aggro?
Because you have to be able to give up all of your movement to get 2 shots with your bow. Mm-hmm. And then to have your savage mantra double that, right? You're only going to get that if you're at range from the enemy.
Right.
And if you're next to it with a bow, right? If you're next to it with your bow, you're only going to get 2 shots with your savage mantra.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. My movement is 7. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then diagonal 7. Be at the ready right here. Brave Sir Robin ran away. And I will prepare that savage mantra.
Yep.
And that will cost me 1 rule, which is the magic in this world. And I'll put this on my board here so I remember. And that would be my turn then.
Okay. I am number 2.
Yep.
And I am going to, let's see. I don't want to move out of line of sight of you because the enemy needs to stay in line of sight.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if I move up 2 spaces
Right there, right? Yeah.
and cast Anointed Armor.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's
Yep.
Armor of Rule, right?
Or yeah, I'm sorry. Anointed Armor is the Clarion. Yeah,
Okay.
my armor buff is called Armor of Rule. So go ahead and spend a rule for me.
Yep.
Cast that, and I'm gonna stand there and wait for the charge for the attack from the Niveus Adder because I need him to move into your line of sight.
Right. So now you have +2 mitigation. So that's 3 mitigation that you have this entire battle. So that's great. It'll last until the creatures in this battle are dead, which is just that one right now. All right. So that was your turn. You've moved. You've cast your skill. That means the Niveus Adder is up, and it has a movement of 5. It sees you, so it will do 1, 2, 3 until it reaches you, right? And then do its attack.
It's gonna move adjacent to me. Now it wants to use its special attack, its action.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to roll a modifier die, and it has to roll a -1 through +3 in order to use that action.
Yes, let's see, and I'm putting this here because it has 2 of those actions here. The bottom tracker here is to keep track of how many special actions, again, which it says here on the stat bar. It says actions number is 2, and the action is described at the bottom here. So it'll always try to do that first. And if it misses, it's still spent, so that's good. Oh, let me just quickly grab a little dice tray. Forgot to do that. Correctly grab one. Here we go. Put that here. There we go. A dice tray with artwork by Billy and Babel, who was also here in the stream earlier. So
wonderful.
It'll it'll roll this die to see if it hits, and it'll roll. Does it roll this one as well? Yeah.
Okay, what we're gonna roll first, Raymond, is the D6.
Okay.
And only.
Okay.
Yep. We're gonna roll that to see if it can use its action. It wants to. So roll that into the tray.
Right.
And that says it cannot. So that doesn't count against its 2 actions for the battle.
Okay.
But because it can't use it, now it's going to do its normal melee attack.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to roll the D20 and the D6 together. Oh. And it has to roll I believe, a 13 or less.
I rolled a 1. It's a critical hit. Oh no.
And a +2. Okay, so now it's going to do a critical hit.
Yeah.
+2, which I think its damage on its melee attack is 5.
Yep, it is.
So it's going to do 7 damage against me minus my 3 mitigation, so 4 gets through.
But does a critical hit not?
No, that's right. That's right. It does all 7.
Yes, because when you roll a critical hit, you ignore armor. It's no mitigation there, so you take a whopping 7 damage.
You're right. All 7.
Yeah,
all 7. I'll take it.
So you go from 14 to 7 hit points. Wow, half your life just gone like that.
No problem.
Ouch. So that was the Adder's turn, which means it's now my turn. I've got my Savage Mantra active, and I'm at a distance. My melee range with the simple short bow, let me check that again, is 6. So the range is 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's just far enough. So I will try to hit it, and I can, because of my Savage Mantra, I can attack. I can attack twice, right?
Okay, this is Is this the new round?
Yeah, because the adder attacked you, and
Okay.
so
So now we're at the top. We're at the top of the order.
exactly.
Okay. Don't move.
Nope.
If you don't move, you get to shoot your bow 4 times.
Right. Because
So you're going to roll the d20 and the d6 for each shot.
Yep. All right.
Here we go.
I roll an 11, and my focus is 12, so that's a hit. I do get a -1, so the 3 base piercing damage is now 2. So that's 2 damage, but it does mitigate 2. So normally that would mitigate all the damage, but you always deal 1 damage,
Yes.
even if armor mitigates all your hits back down to 0. So I deal a whopping 1 damage.
Hey, but at least you got 4 shots.
Yeah, I do. All right, let's hope I hit some more and maybe some pluses. Oh, that's a 19 -2. So that's a miss. Arrow goes flying. That's a 7 +2. That's good. That's a hit +2. So that's 5 damage. -2 mitigation is 3. So it's down to 20 hit points. And for my last attack, final attack.
Come on, Raymond.
That's a 2 -1. So that's, again, just 2 damage, -2 mitigation is still 1 damage. So
1 damage.
On 19. All right, that was my turn.
That was really good. Yeah. Okay, my turn. I have a really, really bad body score, which means that any attempt by me to hit him with a melee weapon or whatever is going to probably miss.
Yeah, because it's 7.
So
on a d20.
I'm going to go ahead and hit him with concussive blast. I'm going to spend a rule and knock him down 2 more.
Okay. So that's 2 damage because of the 2x2 square, right?
Yep.
All right. 17. Anything else you want to do?
I'm going to ask you a question. What do you think of me moving? What do you think of me moving farther? Well, let's see, farther away than you.
Yeah, I mean, you're at 7 health. Seems like.
I think I could withstand 1 more attack from him and give you 1 more shot at your Savage Mantra using the rest of it. So I think I'm going to stay 1 more round because the chances of him rolling another crit are pretty low.
Okay. All right.
So I'll just
take the risk.
Yep. Let's see what he does.
All right. Take 1 for the team. All right. So first of all, the d6 again to determine if it can use its special attack. It's a -2, so it can't. And then I'll roll both, and that's a 5 with a +1. I keep rolling so well for the monsters. So it hits, and it does +1, so that's 6 damage versus you. You've got a mitigation right now of 3, because fortunately it's not a critical hit. So it deals 3 damage, if I'm not mistaken.
So I've got 4 life. I'm great.
Yeah. Peachy. That's the adder's turn, so that is another round. Back to me. I'll try and just shoot it 4 times again.
Do it. Get it this time.
Yeah, I hope so. That's an 8 +2, so 8 means I hit. +2 on my base attack of 3, that's 5. -2, that's 3 damage.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. That's great. If I can keep that up for the other 3 arrows as well, that would be really good. 7, -3. Well, it hits, but it's just 1 damage.
Hey, that's 1.
It's just 1. That's a 2 +1, but again, +1, that's 4. Oh, well, that's 2 then. -2 mitigation, it's 2 damage. So it's on 11 hit points. Final attack.
Come on, Rick.
5 -2, at least that's 1 damage. So it's now down to 10 hit points. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad. At least I hit all my arrows. That's good.
Okay, it's my turn,
Yep.
and I have sacrificed myself to allow you to get these shots off. Now I'm going to move.
Yes.
Uh,
Run away.
now I'm going to move beyond you.
Mm-hmm. You've got 10 movements, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I think the square to your left is fine. I think right there is fine.
All right. Hide behind my back.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So now it's the Niveus Adder's turn, unless you want to cast something. Because you could.
I think
you could try
as
sleep.
long as. Do we have any healing? Because there's no reason to cast sleep on it.
No.
Much unless we have some sort of healing. Do you have anything in your backpack that you could share with me, or do I have anything?
I didn't have anything, but I think let's see. Items here. So you got your stuff, you got your fire starter kit, you got your cloth armor, so that's not it.
Okay, so yeah, I don't have any bandages or anything. Okay.
I don't think we started out with at least we got no, that's what we have.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Make sure we didn't have let's do I mean, sleep. The only thing sleep is going to do for us is it's going to knock him down and allow the next attack on him to be at plus. Let's see, his mitigation will be at -2 because he'll be asleep.
Exactly.
So it'll let more damage get through. Yes. So do you think that makes you may go ahead and sleep him?
I mean, we could. It's at 10 hit points. If I manage to hit it 4 times, with a bit of luck, I could also try and do the bloodlust and then attack twice and try to bleed it.
Didn't your savage mantra just run out though? You just used it for the second time.
Oh yeah, it's the next 2 rounds. You're right.
Yeah, so you're out of double attacks. Yes. So maybe your bloodlust might be a good choice.
Yeah. Okay. I could do that. Can you? How many? You can redo savage mantra as long as you have rule, right?
Yep.
You could redo.
Sure. Mm-hmm. You can redo it. Yeah. I think I'll go ahead and sleep him. I think that'll be good.
All right.
Just make sure that first hit counts.
Yeah, I'll try. So yeah, sleep. Target enemy suffers sleep effect. Range is 4. Well, you supposedly you would have done that before moving, of course.
I may be out of range.
Yeah, you're out of range now, but if you did it before moving, then you would have slept it.
Okay. Yeah, and that's the thing with this game. This is a cooperative game, so if something isn't to our maximum advantage, you just discuss it and you fix it. You can walk things back because, again, we're playing as a team.
Exactly. We do that all the time. We do that all the time.
And trust me, when you get later in this game, you're going to have to do that, especially when the enemies all begin to have behaviors. Because you talked to me about an increased challenge level. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, buddy, you're about to experience it.
Alrighty. Joy.
I think it's encounter 10, and then all of a sudden, all the creatures have behaviors, so it's like you can't hit them till they hit you, or they knock you down when they hit you. I mean, it's just.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. What have you created?
Yeah, stuff.
Yeah. Okay. That's just we've put it this. All right. So it's now lying down because it's asleep.
Yep.
I will then first use a rule, and you've also used a rule, of course, for the sleep spell. So for bloodlust, whenever this hero is successfully when I'm successfully attacked, my next melee gains 2 bleed. So I think I should now do the savage mantra and take advantage of that first.
I think you're right.
Yeah. So I do the savage mantra again, which is an action, of course. So I can't attack right now, but it's sleeping, so we can wait.
Yep.
So
that actually was a really nice 1-2 punch, because the sleep did give you time to waste the turn
exactly.
to get the Savage Mantra recast.
Yes. It doesn't wake up on its own. It'll just keep sleeping. So that's my turn. I only take that one action, which means it's your turn again. I guess you could also skip your action or maybe do something else. So let's see. Do any racial traits we could use?
I've got energetic assault,
Exactly.
but I don't anticipate, with my melee score being, my body score being as low as it is, attacking him with a melee weapon. So I'm just gonna skip my turn this time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip it.
All right. Well, the creature sleeps, so we're back to me, which is great.
Yep.
I'm now a savage. So
Remember,
I get to try 4 attacks once more. That's a 4. That's good. It's -2 though, which means I hit it for 1, which is mitigated, but still do 1 damage. And it wakes up, but it doesn't stand up right. Not yet, right? On its turn, it'll stand up.
Exactly.
So this is now 9 hit points. This is 0. Second attack. That's a 20. That's a critical failure. And I rolled a +3. Of course I did. Critical failure. Does that do anything special?
No, a 20 is just always a miss.
Right. Okay. That's a 9, which is a hit. +3. Huzzah. So that's
Nice.
6 damage -2. That's 4. So it's down to 5. Perfect.
Oh, Raymond.
Might actually kill it. I hope so. 18. That's a miss. Whoops. You know, if an adder is laying in the grass, it's really hard to hit, you know. In my defense. And that's a 7 +2, so that's a hit. Which means 3 + 2 -2, that's 3 damage. It's down to 2 hit points. So now it's its turn. It, of course, wakes up enraged, spends 1 action to stand up. It's not within...
Oh no, my turn.
Oh yes, of course. I'm on your 2. It's your turn.
I'm going to cast Concussive Blast and kill it.
Yes, Concussive Blast. Perfect. So that's another skill spent. Concussive Blast just deals 2 damage in a 2x2 square. All right, so it's dead. Got it. Huzzah. All right. Yeah. So if it ever manages to roll a positive number, right, it's just negative or positive on the d6, right, for the special skill?
Right. Whenever an enemy wants to use that, it has to roll a -1 or a +1, 2, 3.
Right. Okay. So it's a 2/3 of a chance to actually do that special attack, and then it would spend here 1 of those special attacks because it can only do it twice, and it would just add poison effect on top of the 5 base damage that it does.
Correct. And the reason we did that, Raymond, is because we didn't want to front load the enemies in battle where they basically just come in, use up their actions, and then they're paper tigers, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, that's good. And of course, if they manage to be able to do a special attack, but they roll over 14 in this case, so over their check fails, then they will spend that attack, but they just miss.
Exactly.
Which is also good. All right.
Yes.
So yeah, that's basically in a very short, very quick round of battle and actions you can take and things you can do. And these are just 2 of the 4 enemies in this core set. Like we said earlier, there's 2 other heroes that you could play with different skills. And working together is very important, of course. Pretty cool. So that's how you play. I hope you enjoyed it.
what we would be doing next in play, just to let everybody know quickly, is I'm pretty beat up.
Exactly.
We would rest.
Hmm.
We would rest now,
Yes.
and the rest is designed to heal wounds, to reduce fatigue, which Raymond has gained some fatigue, and also to recover your rule,
Yeah,
so that you
exactly.
have more available rule.
Yes, so we have a deck of cards, and there's basically three types of cards in here. We got Restful Sleep, Restless Sleep, and Ambush. And of course, let me read that. The Restful Sleep, you are weary from another long day of adventure, and slumber overtakes you quickly and soundly. Heroes who rest receive +2 rule, so you get 2 magic back, -2 fatigue if you have fatigue, and -2 damage on your life track there. So that's always good. And you can rest multiple times if you want. And well, let me first read the Restless Sleep. Where is the card here? Restless Sleep. Your sleep is plagued by nightmarish visions of the horrors that you have faced in your travels. Heroes who rest receive +1 rule, -1 fatigue, and -1 damage. So basically half of what you would get from a restful sleep. And you can also get ambushed. So you are awakened by a vicious attack. Place enemy indicated below next to the hero who drew this card. The enemy gets 1 attack prior to rolling initiative, well, drawing initiative from the back, of course. So you might want to change that wording. Just noticed. If somebody
Mm-hmm.
is on watch, which I'll explain a bit, enemy may be placed anywhere within the current scenario. And then it just says, these are, I guess, we have several ambush cards with different creatures. So, for example, if you're in a forest, you get a Rangora creature. You find the card in the standee. In the plains, it's a jeweled Kyrid. And in the Underlands, you get a Shaloran Weaver, which is one of those spider creatures. And there's different ambushes with different creatures, of course. So when you rest, you can choose to have one of the players who perhaps hasn't spent too much rule or fatigue, or is still good on the life track, to basically stand guard, to guard while the rest sleeps, and that helps with the ambush, right? Basically,
Yep.
said what it said on the card. If someone is on watch, then you can place the enemy anywhere within the current scenario. So they could be all the way over there because you spied them. Does it need to be within line of sight?
As long as they're within the current scenario, you can place them there, and they will just begin to move toward you until they are in line of sight, and basically just kind of approach.
Yeah.
But no free attacks for them.
All right. So that's what we would do. You should just simply shuffle that deck, and if you do get ambushed, you just discard the ambush card after resolving it. And I dropped a card. So that if you choose to rest more than once, because somebody needs a lot of rule or hit points or fatigue, increased or decreased, then you can choose to rest again, but you won't have that ambush card you already drew back in the deck. There's 3 ambush cards in here, and so yeah, that's basically to avoid getting ambushed time after time after time, which is good. It's kind of nice. It's a very simple system.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Once you get past Age of Prophecy and into the core box, we add a couple more cards to the rest deck. Sometimes a merchant will wander into camp, and we also have the thieves mechanic. And if you have a campfire lit, thieves don't want to come into the firelight because they don't want to fight. They simply want to steal your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so yes, with this game, we're trying to introduce you to the basic mechanics of the rest deck. We keep it simple. It's the math is kind. Obviously, it's designed to help you recover things, but again, things can go sideways.
Right. So you can also start a campfire. That's also cool. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, then you would just draw cards and see what happens. So we have a Restless Sleep, for example, the first card I draw, but that would mean if we both slept, then well, let's see. I'm still at max life. Haven't taken any damage, but I would lose 1 fatigue, and let's see. I get back one rule, and for you as well, and you just keep track of that with your stats here on your hero board, and then you can choose to continue. And I can say, well, I'm fine, I'm good. I only have one rule spent, so I'll keep watch, and then you draw another, and it's an ambush. So I drew that, but since I was standing guard, then whatever was spawned. Let's see here, just for an example, we're in the plane. So a Nivius Adder, of course, another one of these guys. So I could spawn them like over here, for example, and then there's enemies on the map. So then at that point we couldn't rest anymore, right? Once there's enemies spawned, you need to get ready for battle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So I hope that was clear to people watching on how combat is resolved and how that goes in Vrahode, Age of Prophecy. So, Jeff, is there anything else you would like to talk about that we haven't covered yet? Perhaps the 3D terrain pieces that you made. We briefly touched on at the start of the stream.
Right. Okay. Well, Age of Prophecy is the initial game in this larger system. There'll be a number of products. The Harbinger terrain system is an agnostic 3D terrain system that will work in with later games of Vrahode, but it also will work in any game system like D&D or any other system that uses the 1-inch grid, and it will allow people to build up to 5 level deep dungeons right on their tabletop. And for a change, it will allow them to do that beautifully and affordably. You'll be able to get a Harbinger set that comes with a number of rooms and halls and stairs, functional stairways, by the way.
Cool.
And all of the rooms and halls, we have full color vinyl artwork that affixes to those, so you don't have to paint them. And the grid is right in the artwork. And so it's very easy for you to set these up and to get your gaming off the tabletop and take it vertical. So the Harbinger stuff is probably going to be the next launch after Age of Prophecy. And then we'll have the Harbinger sets out in fantasy and sci-fi, by the way. And then you'll be able to use the Harbinger set with the core box when it launches. So
all right. Because I did the website is just posted in the chat there. You can go to the weathervanegames.com website where all the information is about Age of Prophecy and the Harbinger terrain. And I noticed that they're basically these like tables, tiny tables that you can put tiles on, and then you have all of these different kind of terrain tiles. So, but since this uses all of these maps, these pre-made maps, how does it work exactly with Age of Prophecy then?
Age of Prophecy is basically a standalone game. It's not designed to interface with the Harbinger. Also because this is a very story-driven game. So the Harbinger comes into play once you get into the core box, where, for example, Age of Prophecy has essentially one mode of play. When you get to the core box, there are 6 modes of play. There's campaign mode. There are expeditions, which are 7 to 13 quest chains. There are missions, which are 3 to 7 quest chains. There are skirmishes. There is straight procedural play, and there's also what we call commissions. And commissions are basically you going to work serving the local races. So you'll travel to villages and you will help them with small quests and be rewarded for that. And so once you get to the core box and beyond, that's when you'll be able to use the Harbinger terrain system with it. And again, it's just optional. It's an optional buy for you. If you love dungeon delving like I do, then you will be able to experience that in a way that you never have before and at a very, very affordable price. So in other words, you can buy a whole set of Harbinger for the price of one piece of Dwarven Forge terrain.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So
that stuff is expensive. I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, because we all have lots of games with like these modular tiles with a 1-inch grid, so it's pretty cool to be able to elevate that into a 3D gravity land, like the bard says on his in his video of Hero Quest. That's pretty cool. Looking forward to that. So that is going to come sometime after the Kickstarter of
Right.
Age of Prophecy. Then,
Yep.
cool, cool.
It's something to look forward to.
Yeah, indeed. All right. Well, Jeff, if there's anything else that we've missed that we might have skipped, now's your chance.
Yeah. Well, I would just say briefly that, the whole point of Vrahode, the world of Vrahode, is basically to give true fantasy fans that have loved fantasy novels, that have loved Tolkien and Gary Gygax and all of the wonderful things that they've created in fantasy. But it's a way for us to start over and to let us experience a fresh fantasy world where there's no experts at the table. And so it's like when you played that first game of D&D and the DM said, and you in the hallway ahead of you, you see a kobold, and you're like, cool, what's that? Is it a friend? Is it, it lets you kind of start over with that sense of childlike wonder, which is really what a fantasy world should all be about. It should be about experiencing things that are foreign and new. And Vrahode lets you do that. And the game system that we've designed is not designed for just uber geeks to play. It's designed to play fast and be simple enough that you can actually play it with your family and your kids. We've had a lot of 8-year-olds at convention come up, start to learn how to play Vrahode, and in 10 minutes they were making just as good of decisions as their parents were, or whatever. So this is designed to be a rich experience, but definitely not a complex game to learn.
Right, exactly. Yeah. All right, cool. And since that was a question that came up during our plays, there's quite a bit of a story already in Age of Prophecy. Is there going to be a bit of a lore book or something that we could perhaps download to read a bit into the world before you start, so you are familiar with some of the terms like rule? And there was like when you kill a creature, it's kind of like its essence escapes from its body and then seeps into the ground. But now there's something weird going on, that it's kind of dissipates into the air, which is unnatural apparently, but we don't know about that because. So I was interested in having something to read about the world before jumping into the game, actually.
Sure. I've posted lore to the Facebook group page, which is called the Vrahode Tavern.
Okay.
I have posted some lore to the Instagram account. So the lore for the races is there. I really don't want to spoil for you why the Kier energy is no longer drifting harmlessly into the ground like it normally does.
Yeah.
There is a reason that the Kier energy, which is like an offshoot energy, it doesn't really do anything for us. It's kind of like the byproduct of casting magic, or casting using your rule. But something is wrong with it. And for me to tell you that, I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
Okay, let's not do that then. Yeah, so there's a Facebook page, so keep an eye on that. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm looking forward to reading up on that. Let me just put the box in the shot so people can see the lovely art on the box, which I found pretty intriguing. There we go. I'm just gonna.
It turned out way too dark, Raymond. But I did tell them to back the black off on press so that it wasn't quite so dark.
Yeah, it is. It is a dark box. That's true.
It's too dark. It's too dark. But we fixed that. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I like the design of the box. Just it's different than what you're used to. Usually, you have these epic battles with dragons and stuff, and that's great. I love that. Over the cover of Hero Quest is fantastic. But this is like this. There's a doorway and there's a land outside and just the one hero. That's it. And I found that really nice, and that got my curiosity peaked. Right? I was like, I want to know what this is about.
Yeah, wonderful.
All right. Well, I don't really have any more questions for you, Jeff. Unless chat has any questions, now is the time
Yeah,
to ask.
anybody, yeah, I would be happy to, before I go, I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has.
Yeah.
And if not, I would just, I would just encourage you guys to check us out on Kickstarter on October 1st. We've got Vrahode.com, we've got weathervanegames.com, we've got harbingersystem.com.
Oh.
We're literally everywhere on socials. We even have a Weathervane Games YouTube channel where I've done way too much talking on podcasts. So yeah, and then I'm very accessible. One of the things that we've tried really hard to do, Raymond, during this whole process is to give people a sense of ownership of the process in this particular system. And so, reach out, ask questions, make comments, be critical, because the product has gotten as far as it has in large part by the contributions of the players. And so happy to hear feedback from anybody.
All right. Cool. So I'll just post a link to the Kickstarter as well. It's just the preview page, but you can already hit that button to get notified when it goes live on October 1st so that you don't forget. And so you can check out more details once that page goes live. And of course, on Vrahode.com, you can already see lots of stuff. And on weathervanegames.com, you can also read up about that Harbinger terrain system. All right. Well, Jeffrey, thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed our chat here and our playthrough. I sure did. And I hope chat
Raymond,
did as well.
the pleasure has been all mine, and thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
And I couldn't, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
No problem. I had a lot of fun, and I love doing this. So, all
Wonderful.
right, we'll keep an eye on the Kickstarter, and I'll share it on the socials once it's live. Thank you so much. Chat is also saying thanks. Great looking game, says William Babel. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Bill and Florian and everybody for having been here, and Artyom Havoc, Echo Alpha. So yeah, I'll bid you adieu, and we'll be in touch in the future. Thank you so much, Jeff, and I'll see you around.
All right. Reach out anytime, Raymond.
No problem. Will do. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, that was Jeff. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me just close off Discord here. All right, yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to post them. I'm going to look for someone to raid. I hope you enjoyed tonight's stream. That was really fun. Yes, it was. Yeah, Jeff's still in the chat. Excellent. Let me just look for someone to raid. That was a nice session we had. And let me refresh my following. Maybe there's someone doing board games. Let me see if I know anyone who's on. Don't think I see anyone playing actual board games at the moment. Let's see. DC Bueller's playing Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, which is of course an RPG, so that kind of fits. I think we'll give DC a rate there. Let me just check out how far in the stream they are. I think they'll probably be going for a bit. Yeah, so he's been going for almost 2 hours, and knowing him, he'll be going on. He's playing with his dad, which is always fun. So let me just bring you all there. Thank you all for hanging out. I'll just go to the credits real quick. And there we go. Boom. That was a bit delayed there. All right. That's the Vrahode Age of Prophecy game that's coming up on Kickstarter. You've seen the links in the chat already, so make sure to follow that. Let me thank everybody. Thank you, of course, Jeff, for following the channel. Thank you, Echo and Strider, for recently resubscribing. Thank you, Patreon Saints, Sam, Mike, and Echo. Awesome. If you want to be a supporter of the channel, of course, go to my Patreon page by clicking the link in the chat there, patreon.com/boardgameheaven. And you can support me for as little as just €1 per month or more. And in return, you get early access to all of my videos on YouTube, your name in the credits as a supporter, and also access to Patreon exclusive stuff that I post every month. All right, let me just enter the raid here, DC, and I always need to check if there's an underscore there. No, there is not. DC Bueller. And when we enter the raid, we enter his channel, we have a raid message which you can copy, one of them if you're subscribed and one of them if you are not subscribed, and you can post that in his chat. Say hi to DC, and of course follow DC if you're not already following. Awesome streamer, plays a lot of cool games. Echo says, thanks for a special stream. Till next time. Yes, indeed. We will see you next week. And if something happens before then, perhaps even we'll be back with some more Thief 2X Shadows of the Metal Age. All right. Again, thanks everybody for having been here. Check out the channel. I just posted a new review as well of a new game called Stereo Mind. Go and give that a like, if you will. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.